All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We will go ahead and get started this evening. Yeah. All right. Thank you all for being here with us this evening. And thank you, big thank you to our 101 group. Not that y'all had a choice, but thank y'all for being here with us this evening. We will call this meeting to order, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mayor Brian Mock,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jimmy First,
Aki.
Councilmember Judd Mesa,
Here.
Councilmember Leslie Robson, Councilmember Paul Stovall,
Here.
Councilmember Elmer Veith.
All right. I believe Councilmember Veith is traveling this week, if I heard correctly. And we will start off with approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as submitted
Second.
with a couple of omissions.
All righty, I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as submitted. All in favor? And that is unanimous. All right, we have no announcements and presentations this evening, correct? We'll have that on Tuesday. We'll move down to public hearings, and boy, you guys really dodged a bullet this evening, because due to a clerical error, our public hearings did not get advertised in the legal organ and therefore cannot be legally held this evening. So therefore, we will move those to May, and you guys will get out of here a lot quicker than sitting through all that. Although it would have been interesting stuff for you. But if you want to hear about public hearings, come back to see us in May.
There seems to be some jubilance over here, which
I
I'm so
know.
confused about. This is your public officials doing business here, folks. This is serious.
So you're not going to get to hear, about the dumpster enclosure variance. I know
Dumpster's a
you're-
serious
you're
business.
held on the edge of your seat for that.
And the clerical error was not on our part.
Things
her
happen.
fault.
Things happen. All right, we will move right on into to the meeting here, and we have the approval of the minutes for 2 council meetings. Did anybody see anything that needed to be changed on either of those?
I did not.
All right, we are good to move on. We are moving down to staff action items, and the first item is the Q1 2025 budget amendment.
Have Daria
Daria.
come up for this one.
Hello, good evening. Daria Kriskis, Budget and Strategy Manager. We have a pretty simple budget amendment for Q1 this year. It only affects the stormwater fund. The first item you'll see is for $341,327, and that is to account for some projects that should have been rebudgeted in 2025. When we approved the original budget, they were omitted in error, and so we're correcting that. And the second item is a transfer out of the stormwater fund for $100,000 and what's going on there. And I believe Todd's going to get a little more into this situation when he talks through item E, but as you know, we acquired a building at 3220 Cumberland Drive, and it needs some renovations. That includes a roof repair, or roof replacement actually, HVAC, and some other things. And we originally budgeted $1.3 million, and after the bid process, it came in at more like 1.6-ish, if I'm not mistaken. So we looked at it as a team, and we found a variety of things that we could do to help account for that difference, and this transfer is one of those things that we're doing. So that's pretty much it, if you have any questions. Oh, and it's coming out of the budgeted fund balance.
Very good. Questions from council? Thank you,
Thank you.
Daria. Next up, we have the appointment of the hearing officer alternate.
Yes, so the city annually appoints a hearing officer to oversee our hearing of appeals for licensing. We have a great one that's been working for us for several years now, Mr. Jeff Brickman, and he's doing a great job. However, we have more appeals now, and he needs a little bit of help. So we are recommending that you appoint, I'm going to pronounce his name, and I really hope I don't butcher it, but Tunde Akinyele as an additional hearing officer as an alternate to Mr. Brickman.
Very good. Questions from council? All right, moving right on in, we have the Design Review Board appointment.
Yes, this is the last spot on our DRB board. This is a vacant position that wasn't filled earlier this year. This individual is a resident of Chamblee that applied after the fact, after the application closed. We still didn't have a person to fill that final position, so we are requesting that you consider appointing Eileen Delatorre for that position this evening.
Good. Any discussion from council? No? We have the Real-Time Crime Center TV wall and workstations.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is for the Real-Time Crime Center wall mounts and equipment that go in to actually run the video screens and the technology in the room once it's been built. We bid this out the last month, and this is funded through the actual grant side of things. And so we received about 9 responses for that, and we are recommending, Vivian, can you, these are the responses here. You'll see the scoring. We had a team score the responses here, and we are recommending ActiView for the selected vendor. Can you go to the next slide? So you'll see that they're able to provide all of the screens and the workstations. Vivian, can you do the next one? Yeah. And I apologize. I was not the original person to present this item, so I'm going off of his notes, not my own. But we are asking for you to approve a notice of award for a cost not to exceed $581,374.48. And again, this has been budgeted through the grant that we received from OPB.
Very good. Questions from council on this item?
I just want to point out that the only reason Kristen was the one that presented this was because Lieutenant Winfield's daughter is singing the national anthem at the Braves game today. So we gave him a little reprieve from doing work here
We're
today
going to require
and
him to do
presenting.
that, so it's my fault I butchered that, not his.
Nice. Nice. So when are we going to open this Real-Time Crime Center? Do we have a drop dead date on this?
No drop dead date, but
No?
it will be this year.
No? So the DeKalb County also is doing a Real-Time Crime Center. They also got a grant, and they are also spending exactly $2 million, just as we are with their grant. And I just want to get ours open before.
You want us to beat them? I think we
Before
can
they-
handle that.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge there. All right. All right, we have the Public Works Building Construction Contract.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Todd Hill, Director of Public Works. Exciting time. We're getting closer to doing something to this building, so we're looking forward to getting this started. Basically, we sent out a request for proposals in February, on February 4th, and we received our proposals on March 4th of this year. And we received 6 proposals, which was very good. We were surprised at that. And we evaluated 5 of them. One was non-conforming for the bill, we determined, and therefore we had to throw it out. And so in our evaluation, as you can see from our scoring, we did a detailed scoring on this with a panel and decided that we would like to issue the award to Sunbelt Builders. In addition, to help with keeping continuity between our facilities and control problems, we asked them to use our subcontractors that we will contract with directly for HVAC, controls, and fire. And so what we're asking for, and the total cost of all of this is $1,548,677. And so we're asking that the council approve a notice of award and boy, I'm getting tongue-tied. Guess I'm getting excited about this new building. Based on staff evaluation and scoring, we recommend that council authorize the city to issue a notice of award to negotiate contracts for the mayor's signature not to exceed the $1,548,677 with Sunbelt Builders, Canna, EST, and J.C. Lane. and the amounts are broken up on the slide as far as the exact amounts for each contractor.
Good. I'm sure I know the answer to this, but did y'all talk about this in your 101 class?
Yes,
So everybody knows about the new building and what we're doing? Okay,
we're
good
really
stuff.
excited about it. I tell everybody about our new building.
I do too. I do too. Questions from council?
I'll just briefly add that, as Daria alluded to earlier, there was a little bit of a cost overage when we got the full package for the renovation, plus all of our subcontractors with HVAC and access controls and all of that. So as she mentioned, we have pulled together some additional funding sources to make up that difference. We had a little bit of extra in the loan that we issued last year for this project, so we were able to reallocate some of that. And also Todd has reallocated some funds in stormwater. But the thing that I also wanted to mention about stormwater is that in doing some additional work with our data cleanup, we have actually identified about $400,000 in additional revenue in stormwater this year. So it is a good adjustment that shouldn't heavily impact operations at all.
I have maybe a comment rather than a question, or a couple of comments. One, we have had air conditioning problems in our buildings. Are we, I don't want to cut corners so that we don't have them.
We're not cutting corners, and we're using J.C. Lane.
Yeah.
Brian Quinlan has been involved in this whole process through design and the bid process so that we can make sure that we don't have the problems that we've had before.
Very good.
I'll
very
add that J.C. Lane in particular has been extraordinarily helpful in resolving our HVAC issues over the last couple of years.
good. And also our internet, computer, ether world, whatever you want to call it,
Brian is taking care of that. He's making sure it works.
because we deserve it and we want it to last. You deserve it and we want it to last.
Oh, we want it to last too.
Any other questions, comments?
Is the county building a Public New Works building?
We're
Do we need to
we're
beat-
not competing for time on that, but we are excited to get this building open, so I'm sure we're moving pretty fast with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you. We have the LIHTC letter of support.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Blake Dodd, Special Projects Manager. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, tonight we're asking if Mayor and Council will approve us issuing a letter of support for Mercy Housing Southeast rehab of their Mercy senior residences here in Chamblee. It was built in 2007. This is a 64-unit affordable housing development. They're doing a rehab, so they're applying for a low-income housing tax credit through DCA. All we have to do on this is award our letter of support that we get through being a GIT community, so it doesn't cost us anything. We issued an RFP back in December. We had no responses to that. We actually didn't think we'd be issuing any letter of support, so we were happy they came forward to us, and it's a project that we believe in. Any questions?
Questions? All right, good stuff.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Yeah, thank you. We have the Hilton Garden Inn Development of Community Impact. Do we have anything on that tonight?
John? Nothing?
No?
100%.
Nothing? Anything from council on that tonight? No?
So we have no information about the safety of traffic pulling in and out of their driveway and out of the Century Center driveway?
No updates?
Yeah, nothing definitive. So, John Maximock, Director of Planning and Development. The applicant reached out to GDOT and didn't get a definitive response from GDOT. The applicant suggested that right turns be allowed into the property, and then left turns be allowed into the property from the north to the south, and right turn out, and then a no left turn would be proposed. GDOT's informal early response was that it had a concern with left-hand turns out of the property, but to date, the applicant and GDOT haven't come to a conclusion about what would be put in place should the development be approved by City Council.
I think, if I recall correctly, Elmer had Mr. Vice, Councilmember Vice, had issues, or concerns rather, about also just the whole traffic situation there with the right turn lane out of Century Center being, well, it's short now, but still traffic trying to merge into ongoing traffic from Century Center, and also people trying to get into the designated lane for the Hilton. That, I think that he asked for that to be addressed, and I think that that is also something that needs to be addressed before we can go any further with it, because it is very dangerous. And every time I drive by, I'm trying to come up with solutions, which I don't have any, but they need to address that as well. So, and that's, I'm more concerned about that than, I mean, we can enforce the right in, right out thing, that's not a problem, but that traffic merging, somebody trying to get over into the main travel lanes and somebody trying to get over to go into the driveway is going to be a huge problem as well. And so I want to know that they are also figuring out what to do about that.
I did speak to Councilman Veith this week while he was traveling, and he met with the Vice President of Highwoods, and they're not interested in any interparcel access to their property today because of the DOR building and what they're trying to do to make that residential. So it's premature for them, so
Yeah.
that's off the table.
I understand that, but you know what? They could just close that right turn out of their lane, because they have two lanes exiting as it is, at a light. And so there is that option. I think it has to be addressed.
Yeah, I was not precluding what you said. I was just saying that last month we spoke about interparcel access, and that's not available.
John Maxon, can you answer my question on that, because about the interparcel connection, because to me, the DOR has no say whether we require an interparcel connection or not. And when their property comes up for redevelopment, they will be required to connect to the same, if it meets the thresholds, it will be connected to the same piece of property that, the hotel or proposed hotel site. Is that not correct? I mean, they don't really get to say they're not interested. I mean, they can, but it's not really,
Not interested today.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if it would be a requirement of code, it's a requirement of code. It's like saying they're not interested in putting in streetscape or something like that. I mean, it's,
Yes. Yes, sir. I'll acknowledge the first two comments as well, and be happy to talk about the interparcel connectivity. So the staff condition that's in place calls for the applicant owner to negotiate in good faith with the surrounding properties for interparcel access. And then after that, if that can't be done, then they should identify a place on the property, on the record set of plans, where that would take place if it can be done. The applicant has done that, it's on the plans. And also to provide any easements necessary to make that happen. And then there is another condition, condition 5, at the very end of our proposed conditions, that talks about should surrounding properties develop, the applicant owner hotel would be expected to exercise that plan and those easements to make a connectivity, to make connection. At the same time, it's presumed that in the permitting of the future hypothetical adjacent development, that we would apply the UDO, section 350-2, section C, that compels connectivity for parking lots, driveways, and sidewalks to make that happen. And that would be triggered by a land development permit, that would be triggered by a rezoning, variance requirement, DCI, et cetera.
and that's consistent with what we've done over the years. I mean, since I know of it anyway, so.
Correct, yeah. And staff did confer on this, and we checked with legal, and we found that that's about the most that we can do to strengthen our hand to prepare for connectivity.
Question you may not know the answer to, but has the applicant been actually granted a franchise with Hilton Garden Inn?
I don't know that, yeah, don't know, I can try to find out.
I can answer yes, they actually have.
They have?
Yeah.
You know something about Hilton, right? Yeah?
A little bit, a little bit. Any other questions? All right, thank you, John.
Thank you, Mayor, for the answer. Yeah.
All right.
You're off the hook, John.
All right, we will skip past the next two items and we will head on down to public comments. The mayor is the presiding officer. All remarks shall be addressed to the city council as a body, not to individual members, and anyone wishing to speak shall come to the microphone, give your name and address to the city clerk, limit remarks to 3 minutes unless further time is granted by council, not speak a second time until everyone wishing to speak has spoken once and no one can speak more than twice. Please do not speak unless you have the microphone and have been recognized, and with that, I will open it up for public comment. Anyone here tonight wishing to address council on any items? Anybody?
Well, I'll go ahead and speak. I've attended a number
You
where...
have to go over there.
Oh, I'm going to do it from here. I'm John Mesa, Chamblee City Council.
Never heard of you.
Anyway, I've been to a number of these Chamblee 101 meetings. I think y'all have a great class. It's probably the second best class. The first best class is the one Paul and I attended many years ago. But other than that, it's
I
really
humbly
good.
submit that is the case.
You second that motion?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So thanks for taking it. It really means a lot to us because we've had this program a number of years, and it's getting better and better and better. No thanks to Brittany and her team.
I happen to know that the class of 2014 was the best, but anyway, anybody from the class want to say anything? You want to tell us anything about the class or what your thoughts were? You don't have to, just asking.
Nobody
No?
leaves
No?
until somebody does.
No?
How
No.
impressed you are with us.
What was the favorite of the classes? Which one did we now remember you got all the department heads here. And the guy in the back has a gun. Well, thank you all for giving up your time, and I know we'll do the graduation next Tuesday, right? So we'll see everybody here on Tuesday for graduation, but thank you all for participating. This is truly what makes our city as great as it is our community turning out and giving of their time to participate in these type of things. So I really appreciate your time for the last few weeks, months. And with that, I believe we have executive session this evening.
Motion to go into executive session for personnel matter?
Second.
A motion and a second to enter executive session for a personnel matter. All in favor? And that is unanimous, and we may or may not be back out shortly, so feel free to stick around. We never know how long these things take when we get back there, but if you do leave, just remember, I got y'all out of here in 27 minutes.
Shortest one ever.
Without the public hearing, does it really count?
It doesn't, yeah, it's just a regular meeting. We beat regular meetings before that, before regular
14
meetings.
minutes, you say.
Chief. Chief Mike Dieppe.
hearing headlights on my whole presentation. Everything just went, I was up there and I go, everything just suddenly was like.
I left all my stuff over here. When you?
I went for a second, I was like,
I just went blank.
I used to have this mnemonic device where I would pick 3 things.
Yeah,
And then
I mean, I always have my notes written out where I can just go to them and just read them if necessary.
I know, people like this.
going to text you, actually, the person in charge for the food bank. So you will email her directly to the best person.
Have you ever been to it? Did you go to Chamblee Middle? That was your sister.
Yeah, but this is actually going on the land where those two.
Is that might have to talk to your parents. We're having a big kid. I heard from your dad. Yeah, but they're like, they're not full time. They don't. They're like worship.
I know when I went to see my sister, she took me to
Shalford has a daycare, but it's more of like a preschool. And it's shorter hours. Oh, Fairmont did? They did. Did.
Well,
Yeah.
that little house, that little blue house. Was it Anna?
Oh, but they're in North Decatur, right? They live in
I mean, except, yeah.
Oak Grove. Is that a preschool or is that a daycare?
It is used. I visited there.
We're looking at nurseries or daycares right now.
So there was a,
Yes, because we're building a stage.
Motion to exit executive session.
A motion and a second to exit executive session. All in favor? All in favor, and that is unanimous. You got a pen?